Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zach and today we're looking at Ecomi Veve Omi stuff as per usual, and we're going to be taking a look at something called Neon. Now I want to have a look at this because I do think that it may have some level of relevancy to Veve at some point in the future. Real quick though, the price currently is 0.002007. We're close to the low right now of the 0.002003 and a high of 0.002129 over the past 24 hours. Literally nothing changing for the past couple of weeks at this point. Nothing honestly too bad, but right now let's have a look at Neon. Right, Neon is this project that I have been made aware of thanks to Metahuman printing. I'm going to be taking a look at it right now. Neon is an let's try that again. Neon is an artificial human technology company that offers real-time interactive conversational experiences on mobile and web for business and consumers. So let's have a quick look at actually their first video. Hello World from Neon. Of course, Hello World is a standard programming sort of test file name, but let's jump into it. So no music right now, unless I have music disabled, but I don't think I do. No, so currently nothing obvious on here, but that was posted a little while ago, 1 year ago. Then we have What is Neon, right? And then we have Kevin Hart. We have Kevin Hart, ladies and gents, but if we skip past this ad, here we go. So now we have what looks like some sort of music, right, obviously, which I'm probably going to get copyrighted for, so let's keep that off. And then we have what looks like some sort of person, right, some sort of being, and we have the Neon logo in front of it. Now we have quite a few of these, as you can see. Catch a glimpse of the future. They're basically less than 30-second or less than minute at least videos. But let's have a look at the VR artist Aimi Sakaguchi performs at the Neon booth. I want to see what we can see here, and we're going to actually just skip through the start here. Actually, do we want to skip through the start?
At the World Skills Olympics in Russia.
So we're here at CES 2020, and
I'm VR painting artist. I'm doing 3D art in virtual reality space. I'm doing VR live painting, 5 minutes live painting now.
So what she's saying, if you're not keeping up to date, or is she's going to be doing some sort of live painting in 3D AR, and we're going to skip through it because I've already seen some of it. But essentially what we can see right here is her with her VR headset, and we have these sort of controllers on, right? Obviously VR itself, it's far away, right? And this is what I was saying to Metahuman printing when he showed me this, which by the way, thank you to him, of course, for showing me this. But stuff like this is quite far away as far as Veve is concerned. Trevor Diet, Ecomi's lead content producer, has spoken about this, the fact that realistically, AR is something that they're a lot more bullish on, I think, especially in the near term compared to VR, as we can see right here. But basically what she's doing is doing 3D art. I can see that she's drawing a fish right here, through obviously her VR headset, and this is incredibly talented, amazing to see. Of course, this was at CES, where of course a lot of the sort of emerging technology is shown, but we can see here what's being done. Now I do wonder, how is this going to relate to Veve as far as the virtual reality stuff is concerned from the Veveverse? But then going forward to this, let's have a look at the Neon and Core R3 demo at CES 2020. Because I think hopefully this might be a bit more informative.
Thank you so much for coming here today to visit us here at our Neon booth. We are called Neon, and we are a 4-month-old venture.
It's a shame that the audio is pretty bad, but
been around for 4 months, and literally last September was when this team moved into our new office in the middle of nowhere.
So they started 4 years ago, in case you can't hear it properly, and now they're doing their thing.
So we are not here to sell you a product. We are not ready for commercialization.
And this was back in 2020, so last year.
You won't be seeing anything of what we're creating in the real world anytime soon. But still, we work very hard on a technology that we believe is very transformative, that can impact the world in many different ways. And so we're just very excited to be here at CES to preview to you and give you guys a glimpse of the future, something that we think is very, very important. We are making neons. Neons are artificial humans. Artificial humans are computationally generated digital beings, meaning that they exist in the digital world. They are virtual. They have no physical embodiment. They're not a robot. You can't touch it. But they're virtual. And they
Of course, what we're hearing right now is very similar to what we hear about the Veveverse, right? Especially with wearables, right? When Veveverse is like wearables supported, i.e. you have glasses on or some sort of lens on where you can see augmented reality like you do with your phone's lens, but through your actual lens essentially over your eyes. It's going to be interesting to see. Maybe we could see some level of collaboration with Neon and VeVe. The thing to keep in mind about VeVe, and I'm really trying to keep my own perspective on this on lock, is that VeVe is all about, and it's being marketed as digital premium collectibles, right, as NFTs. Now that itself is not necessarily how do I put this, when it comes to the metaverse, right, when it comes to Veveverse and stuff, there's a lot of people wanting gamification and sort of, those experiences of gamification, and that's amazing, right? But at the moment, especially when we're so early on, which we are still very early on, the team seems to be really just hammering down on only the IP stuff. The team aren't really talking too much about the experiences that we're going to see with Veveverse. I would say that Trevor has been the most vocal, I guess, about what we could see, and that's of course because he can see the vision from a tech point of view, from a content production point of view. But VeVe itself is all about premium digital license collectibles, and I think if they're going to take on the market that way, they're going to have to be so much bigger than that. I think that what they have right now, as far as like the vision, is huge, the premium digital collectible market, but the social end of it, the utility end of it, I think will take it to the next level, I should say. I think VeVe, in the way it is right now, the only thing that's stopping it really is the lack of content, which is coming over time, right?
behave just like you and me. They can smile, they can talk.
But it could be that, for example, these neons, right? It could be that they become sort of virtual assistants within the Veveverse, for example.
They can laugh, they have expression. And the idea was to make technology more like us, to make machines more like us. I don't know if you ever been to an airport and you checked in, maybe at an airline check-in counter. It's a kiosk, right? And you type in your confirmation number. It's not a very nice way of interacting.
It's a long process. So what he's talking about here is the process of going to an airport, and it doesn't need to be an airport. It could be anywhere. It could be a shop. It could be any sort of event place, any public place where people are going for a specific purpose. Obviously, for an airport, you're going there to most likely fly somewhere, right? Now, what essentially he's talking about, it seems like, is having someone as an assistant, someone who is essentially doing what the person at the kiosk or at the desk would normally be doing, but essentially making that a lot more efficient, hopefully. And that's what all of this is meant to be. It's meant to have use cases, right? So it'll be interesting to see if we can see something like neons in the Veveverse where they be your assistant.
Technology. But what if that machine was a human? What if that machine can talk to you and interact with you kindly, compassionately? Hello, sir. Hi, madam. How can I help you? And even when you're frustrated and worried about your delayed flight, it's kind and it's patient. Or what if you go to an ATM? My mother, she hates ATMs because she doesn't know what buttons to press. She's like, what does this do? How do I do a withdrawal? How do I do a deposit?
So what he's talking about here is, I think, also then leaning into accessibility. You have use cases, and now I think accessibility is something that ties into that, right? If you have older generations and just people in general, I suppose, who aren't as tech savvy, this could be really helpful. And obviously for VeVe, customer acquisition is going to be very based on obviously marketing, but also based on how easy it is to use. Now, to be fair, if we were ever to see something like Neon and VeVe pair up together, I believe that is like years down the line. This is not happening this year, it will not happen next year, and it won't happen a year after, as far as I'm concerned. But maybe 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, we can see VeVe implement this stuff, and by then I'm sure Neon will also be a lot further on. And even if it's not, the fact is that this is something that people have a vision for, and I do believe that this sort of thing, regardless of whether it's Neon or not, will still live on.
But if it was a Neon, a personable interface that's able to explain to her nicely in her mother tongue and allowing her to understand how the...
So of course, mother tongue, right? That's of course native. That's basically, again, accessibility. I don't want to... he's talking about the same thing quite a bit here, so I want to move on a little bit, see if he's talking about something else.
Answer to the best of my ability. I can respond to various interactions. So Core 3 is doing just that to the neons. It's providing a perception of reality. And so it's the front-end engine that's making these neons real. Yes, neons are based off the model of a real person. You can't find them in real life. It's just the same way that Alexa, Siri, Bixby, Google, they're all based off of the voices of a real person. But then after that, every frame, every expression, every movement and laughter that you see these neons produce are happening in real time, and it's original. That scene, that pixel, that frame has never happened before and was never...
So it's all essentially unique is what he's getting at. But again, this is sort of, I don't know if it's just because I'm being impatient because I'm making a video. And of course, I'll be putting a link in the description to this video. So if you want to watch it yourself fully, then you can.
Ask them to go into different states that you see here. So let me go ahead and check if we're connected to them. And so I'm going to ask them to freeze. Okay. Connection.
So currently he's trying to interact with this neon, I believe.
And by pressing a button, I can ask them to smile now.
So I think I want to make sure this is actually bringing value, right? And essentially what they're showing here is how these neons can be interacted with and stuff like that. Let's see what else we can find there from the channel, because honestly I haven't looked at the full channel. This is what I'm doing with you. I'm trying to sort of learn about what's going on here. So let's have a quick look at what this is. Neon frame, Shinhan, okay, so actually just real quick, this is the same advertiser. Kingston Tech is actually the company that the current new social media person at VeVe used to work on, Kingston, so that's cool. Let's see what this is though. So we have.
안녕하십니까? 고객님의 좋은 친구 신한은행입니다. 방문해 주셔서.
So my understanding is this is a unique neon, right? Each of them are unique neons. I don't know what they're doing though. Let's see if we can find any captions that are English. Hopefully, maybe subtitles. No. Maybe options. Nope. Okay.
감사합니다.
Because there is no way I'm gonna understand this, right? But basically we see here a real life person in front of a screen, right? There's a camera up there, and then we have what seems to be some sort of utility, I guess, on here, where this person is talking to that person. Okay, so we have this camera right here.
고객님께서 선택하신 펀드 유형의 시뮬레이션.
So I'm wondering, will we see this screen but in a digital form with the wearables in Veveverse, something similar to this? I actually want to see what the description is though, because we can't understand any of this, can we? Neon Frame showcased at the opening event of Shinhan Bank's newly dedicated innovation center, X-Base. Shinhan Bank aims to drive advancements in the financial industry by adopting new technologies for transactional banking. Neon Frame will enable customer engagement for businesses. So this is actually what they were speaking about from like the Apple point of view, is essentially it's customer engagement for businesses, and it'll be interesting to see how we might see this again be use case in VeVe. And then moving on to that, we have introducing Neon Studio. So let's have a look at this real quick. So we have Neon Studio, power to create, customize, and publish video content at scale. Right, so essentially, this itself is basically making videos from Neon people, and people are very excited. It seems. This actually reminds me of Metahuman. Is it Metahuman? I think it is. Let's have a quick look at this.
Hi, I'm Neon.
Okay.
Artificial human. It's a little bit different from an AI. I was computationally created based on how real humans look and behave.
So I'm guessing that these aren't real people, but maybe they are.
Every Neon has a unique personality, emotion, and intelligence. I'll help you find your style. I'll let you know what's happening around you.
So it's genuinely a virtual
I'll
assistant.
guide your journey. I'll help you find your inner peace.
That's claiming to basically be a professional in all these sectors. You're an ex-yoga instructor, financial advisor, K-pop star. So this is really interesting. And this again does remind me, it's not the same thing, but it makes me think of Metahuman, which is from Epic Games, the Unreal Engine. This isn't meant to be an assistant though. I think this is more for like graphics and stuff, but it's definitely interesting. And of course, the main use case for VeVe here would be it being an assistant for VeVe realistically, I think, or at least an assistant for the user within VeVe. I've also had a look at their Instagram, to see what's going on here. Nothing very obvious as far as I'm concerned. It's just like pictures of like what's going on. We have a graphic here. What does this show? Let's have a quick look. So we have a jellyfish right here. This music's gonna be the end of me, so I'm gonna have to finish that. And if we have a look at the Twitter, they have like a fairly decent following, like for a project that's like barely began, or at least it's barely sort of, you know, got its commercial use cases. The problem that I have right now is that I looked at this right here, the announcing Neon workforce and Neon content creation services. When you go over here, it says server not found, and I looked at it on Chrome, and basically they don't have a safe website link or whatever, which I'm therefore not going to click on, basically, which that in itself is just a bad, you know, that's not good, right? That's not good, is that you want to have a website that has HTTPS and all that sort of stuff. And that's the thing, like, we actually made a video about Noised as well, which is, I'll quickly go into that real quick, Noised NFT, right? The problem right now is that with, oh wow, the first thing that comes up is me. Okay, whoops. I mean, I'm glad I didn't say anything bad too much about Noised, but essentially with Noised, and they reached out after I made this video, is that there's no, if we have a look here, there is no like about us section really, or at least there's no like team thing talking about, you know, who's behind the project, etc. And to be fair, based on what they said in DM, they are going to be putting those things in. But this is the thing, is like when you're doing projects like this, it needs to be fully, because the thing is, you know, you never know when someone's going to pick up on it. Like myself right now, I don't have a huge amount of influence, but I will still bring in a few hundred people at least at this point who might find interest in certain things I talk about. But I'm not the biggest influencer in the space, obviously, right? When others talk about this who have a higher following than me, you know, when they talk about this, when they see this stuff, you don't know when it's going to happen. I'm just generally talking about companies at this point, right? Especially companies in early parts of their life cycle. Like, it's good to have information when you're like doing things in the public eye, when you're going to CES, all these things. It's good to have a thing that people can like research and sort of review and stuff. And honestly, with a lot of these projects, there just isn't that. When they go through so much, like they've clearly put in so much work to do stuff like this, you know, to build this. But as far as like market adoption is concerned, is, you know, it's always good so that when people like myself are reviewing, that we have the information that we can then present to the audiences. That being said, let me know what your thoughts are on Neon. I don't believe that this is going to be close to VeVe. This is definitely not going to compete with VeVe. This is different. This is totally different to VeVe, to be very clear, obviously. But I think that it's always interesting to see what VeVe and who VeVe is going to partner up with, because that itself tells us, I don't think VeVe is going to achieve this entire Veveverse just as Ecomi. There's going to be collaborations. Every big company collaborates with other big companies to make things, because you just can't, no company specializes in everything. Like some companies specialize in a lot of things, but every company works with other companies on certain things. And I do wonder if Neon's going to be like the assistant, if you like, for the Veveverse. But I'd love to hear your take on this. What do you think in the comments below? I'd love to hear your take. With that being said, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.